So I started when I was 10. We came with my primary school for a taster session and I just really enjoyed it and it came really naturally. It wasn't a sport that I'd ever been aware of before, but I think just the fact that anyone could play it and kind of starting off with no background in it or any prior experience, it just made it really easy to kind of take up and start. I think I was quite unique because, like you say, most people do start when it's grandparents and parents that play, but the fact that no one else in my family plays and I've gone on to play at such a high level is definitely a unique story, but I hope it's quite an inspiring one for people out there who want to get started as well.
At 14 as well, you qualified at the time the youngest ever for the Scottish National Championships.
Yeah, it was a very overwhelming experience looking back now. It was not something that anyone had really seen before. It was quite popular at the time. I think it was obviously made news coverage and things, and I think at 14 I was overwhelmed enough at the thought of going to play, obviously excited, but having all this kind of attention as well. At the time I didn't really understand why people were doing that, because I was just me and I was just coming to play my bowls and I didn't understand what people thought was so special about that. But looking back now, I can definitely see why it was kind of had the attention that it did. I think I managed to get to semi-finals that year in the under-25 singles, which is obviously for 14 that was a great achievement, but I think because of the kind of the pressure that I'd felt people putting on me, it did kind of sting a bit more when I did get beat. But again, it was a big learning moment of kind of dealing with pressure from that young age.
You've gone on to have even more success. So you've won the British Championships, you won the Scottish Indoor titles back to back, and then you went on last year to win the World Indoors title in Aberdeen. Yes. How was that?
Yeah, again, it was a surreal experience. I went for the week purely just looking to get some experience, and it was my first time. I'd played at under-25 World Championships, but it was my first time again at the full World Championships. So as the week kept on going on, I was still playing well, and I never really thought about it too much until I was in the final, and it only started to sink in when kind of the last bowl was played, and it was oh my goodness, you're a world champion. Like it was something that I'd never even dreamed of at that time, but it was so special. And after it, at the kind of podium ceremony, standing on the top step of the podium and the whole stadium singing Flower Scotland was something that was very special. So yeah, but it's not something that I'd ever dreamt about actually becoming a reality. I'm never a big person for having confidence in myself. I'm always kind of doubting myself. So I never had the confidence that I was going to win it, but obviously, yeah, that happened, and yeah, it was great. After the Worlds, I definitely felt I had a bit of kind of imposter syndrome that way. Again, suddenly I'd went away for a week and came back as a world champion and kind of felt like people were looking at me differently, which I did struggle with. So I have been working a lot with a sports psychologist just to kind of learn some different strategies and things as well, which I think is something that's not really spoken about a lot in bowls as well. It's not seen as a sport that can be mentally taxing, but it definitely is, and kind of being like in any sport, being mentally strong is so important. So it was definitely a big kind of flip in my perspective from winning that and dealing with the kind of the self-doubt and the pressure from that. But yeah, working with a sports psychologist really helped me to kind of sort my mindset out and make sure that I was as strong as I can for continuing. So 2 years ago, I think it was, I took on the role of our district coordinator for the youth outdoor, which it was something I was really keen to do. I'm a teacher, so I think the kind of teaching people kind of just came naturally to kind of fall into that role. But yeah, I always wanted to be a teacher from when I was a young age. I used to line up my teddies, and my little brother unfortunately got dragged into to playing schools all the time and making worksheets and things, and it was always something just from a young age kind of naturally taking on that kind of lead-in and teaching role that I've always wanted to be. So I was just really wanting to inspire people that bowls does have the stigma of it being kind of for people that are retired or the kind of older generation, or it's a lot of people, you know, have granddads or grandparents that play, and I never had that. I just came from nowhere really. Like I said, no one in my family played, so just trying to be that kind of story for people that this is what you can do. It's a sport that you can naturally just come into, and if you put the practice into it, then you can go anywhere that you want with it. I think for me, I know how I felt when I was in those shoes, and it's nice to be able to kind of give that encouragement and just kind of give the support there when it's needed. And I've kind of just slid into that role, and I do love it. I think it's obviously very different from playing on the green myself. It's two different roles completely, but yeah, like you say, trying to be that kind of mentor and guiding people through, I do really enjoy it.
And finally, what would your aims be for the leading up to this summer?
Yeah, like I say, it would be an absolute dream come true to be picked, and I would just be looking forward to taking in every single minute of that experience and the crowds and the performance that comes with that. Obviously, we'd be hoping to medal, but yeah, all amongst that, just taking in the experience and enjoying every second of it.